A church is indeed a community. We often refer to them as church communities. So what's a church community? In short, a church community is a group of people bonded together, as I just said, by beliefs, values, and goals. But in the church, our beliefs, values, and goals are the beliefs, values, and goals of God's kingdom. We seek God's kingdom for what to believe, what it is that we value, and what goals we set before us. Okay? Now, let's talk about the word church really quickly. The word church comes from the Greek word ekklēsia, which if you speak Spanish, you know that the word is ekklēsia, right? You can hear that commonality. And ekklēsia in Greek doesn't mean a religious institution. It is the common everyday word for assembly, a group of people who assemble together. And that's what a church is. It is people who come together to assemble. The early church used the word ekklēsia to describe what they were doing because in everything they were coming together as a community to worship, but even more so to live. The word community itself is a little bit interesting. You can hear in it, there's two words, co and unity. And so it's people who are unified, coming together, again, over common beliefs, practices, values, goals, people who come together, who form a sense of unity together in order to cooperate together. That's the co part. And we can see this very clearly in the book of Acts. If you look at Acts chapter 2, starting in verse 42, it says this. I'm going to read this whole passage and then we're going to break out parts of it. It says, they devoted themselves, this is talking about the early church, the first Christians, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. Everyone was filled with awe, and many wonders and signs were being performed through the apostles. Now all the believers were together and held all things in common. They sold their possessions and property and distributed the proceeds to all as anyone had need. Every day they devoted themselves to meeting together in the temple and broke bread from house to house. They ate their food with joyful and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Every day the Lord added to their numbers those who were being saved. And I see as I look at this passage sort of three elements of a church community. Three elements of a church community. The first one is doctrinal. It has to do with what it is that the early church taught, and likewise what it is that people then believed. When we talk about the doctrine of the church, that's what we're saying. What do you actually believe? The second element is practical. Okay, if you believe that, then what do you do based on what it is that you believe? It's the practices of the community. And the third element that's in this passage is the spiritual. What spiritual realities govern what the church believes and practices? That it's not merely a set of beliefs or values that the church has that then extends to what it is that we do, our practices, but we actually believe that our beliefs and practices are undergirded by spiritual realities, that there really is a God in heaven, that Jesus really did die on the cross, that he really did raise, and he really did ascend to the right hand of the Father, that there are spiritual realities that govern what it is that we believe, our doctrine, and our practices, what it is that we do.